Hey everybody, and thanks for coming by Be Still Voice Works, the B.S.V and your BS needs. I don't know what this means, I just make things up as I go, and I've got the one guy who taught me how to do that here on the phone, my grandfather. Welcome.
Who are you talking at?
Oh, I'm talking to the microphone that transmits through the sky.
I must make things up as I go along, you know that.
I know. That's something cool about learning to speak with people. Like, if you are a good conversationalist, you can talk anywhere about anything.
That's how I got out of a lot of work in the military. And all those details and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd get to talking to one of the sergeants or something and get to telling him tall tales about the family and things like that. And he'd sit there and listen to me and talk to me, and I wouldn't have to go out and dig ditches and crap.
It works.
Yeah, it did. I got the easy job, like, I'd get a rake. So I had to just, then after they filled it back up, I just kind of rake off the top a little bit.
Nice. Well,
But anyway.
I was hoping we could... Any Ray? That's you.
Huh?
I thought you said any Ray, and I said, that's you, Ray. Any Ray.
Yeah, anyway.
I was hoping we could talk about ghost stories. I don't know if you're able to think of any cool ones that you've experienced.
Well, I've had some that, when you're little, you believe in ghosts because everybody tells you they're going to get you.
Yeah?
And then after a while, you begin to think about things, and then as you get older, you got time to sit down and really think about things and look back at a lot of things that have happened. And once you've got one experience, you can't base things off of too clear, but once you've had more than one experience in something or around or near something, or something happens and it happens more than once or twice, and then you start to see a pattern, and then you start to put things together. So, one experience can't really make somebody a believer, but more than one, yeah.
It's true.
Like this lady up in Georgia had two daughters, and I was over visiting one night, and the two daughters had a couple of friends over. One of them had one of the girls had a cast on her leg, and they were going to do a seance. And I said, y'all shouldn't be messing around with a seance. Things won't go right. You better be careful. Oh no, we do it all the time. I said, okay. I said, it only takes one to get it wrong.
Right.
Well, they went back in the bedroom, and they were back there for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, you hear screams that, made my hair stand up on my head. I said, what the? And I looked, and the girl with the cast on her leg was out front leading the way. She was running faster than any of them. And they come down that hallway, and they was crying. They couldn't get their breath, and they was all pointing different directions and trying to say something, and I finally got them calmed down. And what had happened was when they were trying to contact this girl's brother who had drowned in the lake, in Lake Lanier up there.
Yeah.
And so they were all sitting there with their hands holding hands and the candle going. Now this candle was taller at the top than it was at the bottom in the glass. The glass got bigger as it got towards the top, if you can imagine that.
Okay.
All right. They said all of a sudden something pushed two of the girls apart. It just pushed them apart, like somebody stepped between them. The little candle, she said the flame on the candle came up higher than what we were sitting. She said it was just a little flame of light just stuck way up in the air.
Wow.
And she says, and then it went out, poof, and then we heard something sound like something broke, and we were screaming and running because of the way that candle did. We felt this, being pushed apart, and then the candle goes whoosh. And anyway, I went in there and looked, and there was a triangular piece of glass broke out of the candle glass.
Whoa.
And the big part of the triangle was at the top, and the little part of the triangle was at the bottom, and it fell away instead of in to put the candle out. It fell out and away.
Strange.
Like somebody had thumped it, and knocked it loose. But those girls to this day won't do anything about a seance.
Oh my God.
They said they actually felt the hands and the cold air and everything, and these were teenage girls too. These weren't little 7- and 8-year-olds. These were teenagers.
Yeah. Well,
And
even being 7 or 8, like you remember that trailer we lived at when I was young on the Indian burial ground there.
Yeah.
I would see all kinds of things. That's the only house I've ever slept walk in. I would see like shadow fingers going across the door frames and the windows and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that house creeped me out.
Well, that house up in Georgia was kind of neat.
Yeah, they were good.
There's some good ghosts up there in that house.
Yep, they were.
I don't know what you call it, a ghost or an angel, but I want you to stop and think about something. I was riding a raft up on the Alabama-Carolina border. A bunch of us raft riding. We went over this place called Bull Sluice. And it's a ditch cut into the rock, and the water goes through there really fast, and if you're not careful, you get hurt.
Jeez.
Well, naturally, whenever we got there, the water was a little lower than normal, so we went over the side of this thing and turned over sideways. My son Michael was the only one that didn't fall out of the raft. Everybody else hit the water. Well, I'm hung on the bottom. I got my foot caught in the rock.
Jeez.
And all I can see is that I'm inside this cut, and all this water swirling around in big circles and yellow bubbles and everything, and I'm saying, well, I can't get my foot loose because I couldn't get back to it. The current kept me from getting back to where my foot was hung.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, something yanked my foot out, and I went on through the sluice and over the little waterfall and popped up.
Jeez.
And I said, wow, man, and everybody was in the rafts. Everybody was all looking around for me, and Michael grabbed me and pulled me in. Well, that night I had this dream, or whatever you want to call it. I was going to sleep.
Yeah.
And they said that somebody gets eaten by that thing every year. Somebody gets killed there every year in that thing. And I was looking back upstream at it in this dream, and I could see back upstream the water coming out that chute and coming over little rocks and stuff. And
Yeah.
I saw the raft come up and touch a rock on the bottom and turn sideways and go in sideways, and I saw everybody fall out of it and everything. And there was this guy all of a sudden standing in there about waist deep. Now, this water was over my head. This guy was only waist deep. And he's standing there, and he's looking down in the water, and he reaches down in the water with one hand, and all of a sudden I pop up, and he kind of pushed me on out, and I said,
Whoa.
And he was wearing white, but it wasn't robes or anything. He didn't have a halo, and he didn't have wings. And he just kind of looked up, and it was like, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, just poof.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that.
But the best ghost story I got, I'll tell you, my granddaddy Jack Penton.
Okay.
He was he
Daddy
put
D.
telephone lines down here. Yeah, his name was Penton, Penton. They put phone lines down through here for Southern Bell and stuff like that when there wasn't even roads going through these swamps.
Yeah.
And they did all kinds of stuff like that. But he liked his whiskey a little bit, so he died 64 years old. And down in Brownsville, where I go to visit sometimes, my grandmother lived down there. And we'd stay in that front bedroom, which was mine when I lived with my grandmother. And my granddaddy had two favorite songs. And I woke up, something woke me up after we'd been asleep. It was about, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I heard somebody shuffling from the kitchen through the dining room, coming down into the living room outside our bedroom, and I heard him. Do 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 do. There's more pretty girls than one. And I kept listening to it, and I said, no way. And then it turned around and started going back toward the kitchen. It was singing a gospel song, Farther Along.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, farther along, we'll understand all. And I listened to that, and I listened to him do that about 4 or 5 times. Walk back and forth from that door to the bedroom, back down to the kitchen. And I'd hear him coming, humming. He never would sing it, he'd just hum it.
Wow.
And my grandmother says, I got used to it. She says, I hear it all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, there's a couple other people now, my cousin talked to me about it, says, the one that lives down there now sleeps in that room, Jimmy. He says, he puts something down and goes looking for it and can't find it. He just come back 20 minutes later and it's right where he put it in the first place.
I've had that happen before, too.
He said, that's Daddy Jack. I said, yeah, it is.
Playing jokes.
Yeah, playing jokes.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, there's a difference in like what I think about angels is that they're like more of another vibration, another dimensional thing. But spirits might be like something left here, right? So do you think that like hard drives of a computer that are made of quartz storing information, do you think that spirits are maybe some of our energy stored in the natural minerals of the earth?
Well, they say that every thought that you have is an electrical impulse, and that gives off a wave, electrical wave, which can be recorded. And all your muscles and everything like that, and your whole body is surrounded by an electrical field. And it's like one guy said, Mary, in the book of Mary, she said the body's divided into three parts, right?
Yeah.
The spirit, the soul, and the mind. And the mind sits between the spirit and the soul.
Right.
And makes a decision of what it's going to do. All the spirit does is what it's told to do. It moves the body in certain ways. It does certain things, and it's controlling energy.
Yeah.
But it's not under, it's not under its own control. So when the soul goes to judgment and the body dies and the mind is gone forever, you can't really destroy energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of lingers. And it might linger around something like, you say earth energies, like quartz.
Yeah.
Definitely. Grandma's necklace that was had a quartz stone in it and everything, or some kind of crystal ring or something like that belonged to Grandma, and everybody puts it on, and all of a sudden they cook like crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They get, well, it might work if I do it this way, or this. I think this will taste better. They pick it up off Grandma.
I love that. That's a fun phenomenon. They say like if a legend guitar like Angus Young's guitar or something, when you play it, it feels like different and you get inspired differently.
Well, sure. Energy, is transferable from one thing to another. So, yeah, I can see where that would be, because one, you get a hold of that and now you're in tune to it.
Yeah.
Because you want to play it so bad, and you want to, because this guy was famous, and you really want to feel what he felt and everything else. So, yeah, you get in tune with that, and you will play better.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's why I'm so good at everything I do.
Why you're so good at everything? That's weird. I'm actually, as bad as this sounds, every single thing I've ever tried to do, I've excelled at doing it. And
you want to.
Yeah, because I want to, and I think I'm receptive to receiving the energies of whatever it is I'm doing, and I fully immerse myself in it.
Yeah, and you're good at picking up off people, too. Somebody's not feeling it, or feeling good, or feeling mad, or upset with something. You can adjust your actions so that you don't cause them any more grief, and they actually calm down and start talking to you. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's how I do with my customers at work. I just go in and I notice something, on the property or about the house that's something I can relate to, and that's how I open it up. But
well, that's a spirit energy working.
Yeah, and speaking of ghost stories, since I have you on this, I was pretty angry at that Chucky doll that you had at your house. Because it would sit there, no joke. There'd be a closet upstairs. We'd be sleeping on pallets, a couple kids or whatever, whoever was there. And it would leave a crack, right, in that closet, and you'd have the light on in the closet for us. But the My Buddy doll would fall over, so its face was in the crack. And I'd just be staring at it, and I had seen that movie Chucky before.
But you know what? That's when I moved in that house, I took my sage, and I went outside, and I walked around the house, and I said prayers, and I also said things to the spirits, that any spirits that wanted to stop there on their travels from one place to another, and join in with us, and just sit around and enjoy being with us and take part in whatever we're doing. That's fine, but you won't be allowed to cause any trouble, because if you do, I'll pray to Jehovah and have you removed. And there was
And he's
never
thrown
any
out.
real trouble in that house, was there?
No, not real trouble. No, all the spiritual occurrences in that house, although any supernatural things kind of creepy, they were always benevolent.
Well, I woke up one morning, and there was, we called the lady Candy because everybody talked about the lady that was there.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning, and there was a lady standing at the foot of my bed, and she was dressed in that long-sleeved, kind of a full dress looking thing, her hair combed back, and she was standing there looking at me, and I says, "Hey," and she said, "Well, how are you?" I said, "I'm fine." She said, "Well, I understand there's some things that you'd like to talk to me about." And I said, "Well, yes, there is." And about that time, Susie started waking up, and she started waking up and rolling over because she heard me talking. The lady said, "Well, I've got to go now," and she turned and walked out the bedroom into that little hall toward the other bedroom, and I said, "Wait a minute, I'm awake."
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
This ain't a dream. I'm awake. I'm fully awake here. So I got up and went looking for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
And Ryan's the one that come downstairs when he was 5 and says he met Clyde's wife,
Oh, wow.
Candy. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "That lady that lives upstairs." I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah." And it was either him or Steven got mad because they like to play hide and seek. But they come down and said, "She cheats. She hides behind the pictures and we can't find her." And that's when Susie was ready to move.
Oh, my God. You know, you just reminded me. I meant to tell you this, like, probably a year ago. I had a weird dream about that house. I went in there, and it was, like, kind of dark. And I went up the stairs, and, right up the stairs, you had a bathroom, and then on the left was a bedroom, and to the right was laundry room and a bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, there was right next to the bathroom, there was like a closet in this dream instead of a laundry room. I opened the closet, and there was like an attic, and I went up in that attic, and there was all kinds of weird little secret things that I found in there, like relics and all kinds of strange stuff. And it was that house.
Well, here comes the kicker now. That property that the house was built on, back in the 1920s, there was this 2-story frame, just like ours, 2-story frame house, wooden house with chimneys because it was cold, and they had a well, and the people lived there in that house on that property. And this old lady told me the story that one night, for no reason, the lady's baby died, about 2 years old, just died.
Yeah.
And said, okay, so she started having problems. She tried to commit suicide, and they grabbed her and bring her back, and she kept on until finally, I think after about the 7th time, she succeeded in taking her own life.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And that's why the lady is always around. But when we first moved in there, Susie would hear a baby crying upstairs. And she told me, she said, "Go up there and see why Ashley's crying." I said, "Ashley's not here." And she looked at me and said, "What?"
Oh, wow.
I said, "Ashley's not here this weekend. What, you're hearing a baby cry, you need to go up there." And she said, "I'm not going up there." I said, "Well, sing it a lullaby and it'll go to sleep." And she did.
Wow.
And it went to sleep. And a couple other times she did that, and after that there was no more baby crying. But now, as far as the old relics and stuff, see, you could have been looking what was in that house, because the lady said that people moved out of it, and there was nobody living in it, and then one day it just burnt down to the ground.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dream felt so crazy. I remember it now.
It was a special place. Even Josefina, that lady from Cancun, Mexico.
Yep.
She couldn't speak English, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, her and Tia got along pretty good because Tia could speak enough Spanish to get along with her.
Yeah.
Well, I was learning it good. I was learning it pretty good, so I was getting along with it. Well, I went over looking for her son, and me and her was talking, and she asked me, "Who was the lady that was over at the house today?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I don't know." And she said, "Well," she said, "Susie was outside cutting the grass." And she said there was this lady walking behind her.
Wow.
That's the spring that she died from cancer.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Maybe
Yeah, that's
same lady who yelled at us, maybe.
well, now that bothered me. You know, when I heard that and looked over at you, and you said she's mad at you. I knew then that I wasn't the only one that heard that, because
Yeah.
sometimes only the person that it's aimed at can hear it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But ghosts can't hurt you, and they're spirits that are wandering around, and they just want to be, you know, they just want to. Some of them just want to be helpful. Some of them just want to look. Some of them want to be mean because this was their house and they don't like the way you're doing it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, ghosts, because even the Bible talked about ghosts and spirits.
Oh, definitely.
That don't, and because Jesus died on the cross, don't mean they went away.
Right. No, you're
So yeah, there's something here, and you got to fight it sometimes. And it's like I told you the other night, though. You know, holding these seances and stuff, and trying to get yourself into a mental meditation state where you can see to the other side.
Yeah.
And all. Just remember, like I told you the other night, when you're looking into the dark, there's something in the dark looking back. So, yeah, just be careful. You know, you don't open that door too dang wide.
I agree with that. Yeah, I know. I've had that experience.
But I put prayers around that house, you know, and I put prayers around this one. And I walk around with the sage, and I do the Native American prayers, and I pray in the Christian way. And so far, we've had it okay.
Yeah, I definitely believe in that.
You need to make agreements with the spirits that live there, and like, you know, you tell me what you like, and we'll see if we can do it sometimes. And you just don't cause us no problems. Scare my kids.
Amen. Let's end on that one because my camera just died.
Okay.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on. But don't hang up. I'm going to keep you on after I stop this thing, okay?
Alright.
Well, I have the kids. They're here.
Oh, okay.
That's cool, right?
Huh?
I said that's pretty cool, hanging out with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah?
We always have a good time. So, are you somewhere where we can talk?
Yeah, hang on, let me make sure that I ain't gonna be needed for a few minutes.
All right.
Let me check. Hey, baby, are you gonna need me for a few minutes? Destin wants to talk. Okay, I'm going back to the bedroom, okay? All right.
Cool. I'm glad we can do it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to do an intro, okay?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is me.
Hey everybody, and thanks for coming by Be Still Voice Works, the B.S.V and your BS needs. I don't know what this means, I just make things up as I go, and I've got the one guy who taught me how to do that here on the phone, my grandfather. Welcome.
Who are you talking at?
Oh, I'm talking to the microphone that transmits through the sky.
I must make things up as I go along, you know that.
I know. That's something cool about learning to speak with people. Like, if you are a good conversationalist, you can talk anywhere about anything.
That's how I got out of a lot of work in the military. You know, all those details and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd get to talking to one of the sergeants or something, and get to telling him tall tales about the family and things like that, and he'd sit there and listen to me and talk to me, and I